Hello, good evening, and welcome to the news at 10 in our headlines this half hour. Bissau Guinean Defense Minister and Special Envoy of President Jose Mario Vaz, Antonio Cabral, holds talks with President Jammeh at State House. Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Ajah Dr. Aissatou Sedi, presides over the swearing-in ceremony of new IEC Commission member, Anthony Robert Seka, at a ceremony held at State House. Gambian Navy Commander Commodore Madani Senghor urges men and women of the Navy to uphold the principles of hard work and discipline during an address to newly promoted officers of the Gambian Navy. German and Indian leaders discuss areas of cooperation between the two economic powers as Chancellor Angela Merkel wraps up a visit to the Indian subcontinent. And Russia's Defense Force says its aircraft have destroyed more than 20 tanks belonging to ISIS militants in renewed air raids targeting rebel fighters in the Asian city of Palmyra. Well, these and other stories coming ahead this half hour. I'm WINIFRED NICOL. Thanks for joining us once again. A special envoy of the Bissau Guinean President Jose Mario Vaz this evening paid a courtesy call on the President, His Excellency, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa at State House. Antonio Cabral, the Defense and Security Advisor to the Guinea-Bissau leader, said he was at State House to discuss bilateral and other issues between Banjul and Bissau. The Vice President, Her Excellency Ajah Dr. Aissatou Sedi, has today presided over this.
Gambian, I thank the Gambian press for this opportunity I'm given. I'm a special envoy of the President of Guinea-Bissau. The framework of our relationship between the two countries. Usually we are used to consult on different issues. This is the reason why I am here as a special envoy of my president on our regular contacts and consultation with the Gambian authorities, because it has been a long time that my president didn't visit Gambia. So this is the reason why he sent me to his brother and friend to explain to him what is the situation in our country, and also to know how the Gambia is. There is nothing, it's just regular contact and consultation.
Special Envoy of Bissau Guinean President there, talking to State House Press Corps shortly after his audience with President Jammeh. The Vice President, Her Excellency Ajah Dr. Aissatou Sedi, has today presided over the swearing-in ceremony of the newly appointed Commission member of the Independent Electoral Commission. Anthony Robert Seka took the relevant oaths administered by the Secretary to Cabinet. The ceremony was attended by some senior government officials, among them Ministers of Lands and Regional Government, Basic and Secondary Education and Justice. Buba SMCC reports.
I, Anthony Robert Seka, having been appointed as member of the Independent Electoral Commission, do swear that I will execute the functions of the office of member of the Independent Electoral Commission without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Constitution and the other laws of the Gambia. So help me God.
The Independent Electoral Commission, IEC chairman, was full of thanks to the Gambian leader, His Excellency said Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, for accepting his recommendation of Mr. Seka, whom he described as dedicated and experienced.
I want to thank the head of state for accepting my nomination, appointing Mr. Seka. Whenever I recommend, he approves. Mr. Seka has worked under me for 12 good years. When he was even joining the commission, I interviewed him. He was very dedicated, hardworking, trustworthy. I send him everywhere. Sometimes when they invite me, I don't go. He needs no training. They are not going to be only electoral officers. They can rise the ladder up to a commission member, even a chairman.
Both the Minister of Lands and Regional Government and Minister of Basic and Secondary Education congratulated Mr. Seka and at the same time employed him to continue his commitment, dedication, and reminded him of making reference to the oath he has taken, now and for posterity.
Few words come to my mind: dedication, trustworthiness, commitment. These are landmarks for anybody in a responsible position. And the chairman said something which is very important. He has made this nomination, this recommendation, as an example to other members of staff, so that they would know that the sky is the limit. Once they have the same qualifications, the same commitment, they show the same commitment, dedication, and trust that you have demonstrated over a period of 12 years.
It's a challenge, but it's one that is not insurmountable. And also congratulate you for this new position that has been given to you. I want to also thank the chairman of the IEC for creating the enabling environment where you've been able to learn from him and other colleagues and worked in a team to a point where your output has been recognized and rewarded. I have no doubts in my mind that you will be able to do just that. Continue the teamwork, because it's only through that teamwork that you can collectively as a commission succeed. You've sworn to your oaths, and these oaths are binding, even if you leave office. So always use it as your points of reference.
Her Excellency the Vice President, Madam Asatunjai Sedi, joined her cabinet colleagues to congratulate Mr. Anthony Robert Seka, assuring him of government's unflinching support and as well encourage him to continue delivering as expected.
Yes. I want to join my colleagues, first of all, in thanking His Excellency the President, Sir Professor Alhaji Dr. AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, for approving Mr. Seka's appointment and swearing in today as a member of the Commission. And furthermore, also thank the IEC Chairman for his wise selection, because having listened to the cumulative experience that Mr. Seka has, he has both administrative capabilities, but at the same time he has also electoral knowledge. I mean, in other words, he has a really vast institutional knowledge of this institution. 12 years is not 12 days. And I think definitely we should thank the IEC Chairman for a wise choice. But also, he chose because Mr. Seka delivered. It's not just, the President always says it. He says, I don't appoint people because of seniority. I don't promote them because of seniority. I promote them because they deliver. Just to say, keep up the good work. I know the Independent Electoral Commission is a highly respected commission, not just in the Gambia, but outside of the Gambia. And we should thank His Excellency the President for his foresight. We should thank Gambians also, because it's through the referendum that we came up with in 1997. And there we have put in a lot of governance structures, including the Independent Electoral Commission, the PIEC at the time, during the transition period. It was provisional, but now it's permanent. All I can assure you is the government will continue to give you all the support.
Mr. Anthony Robert Seka has served the IEC for over a decade with cumulative experience. And with this new elevation, much will be expected of this experienced IEC official. Buba SMCC, GRTS.
245 Navy officers were Tuesday promoted to various ranks in the Gambian Navy. Commodore Madani Senghor, who presided over the decoration ceremony held at the Naval Command in Banjul, urged the promoted officers to maintain discipline for more future successes.
245 officers of the Gambian Navy have joined the list of service personnel of the Gambia Armed Forces to receive new promotions, and the men and women were decorated at a colorful ceremony attended by senior members of the GAF. The newly ranked officers, comprising 20 women and 225 men, didn't get the elevation without the traditional counseling of their commander.
Promotions are a regular military tradition that elevates the status of beneficiaries in recognition of their gallantry, fulfillment of duties, and assignments. It serves as a motivator to indicate that, indeed, hard work yields positive results.
Between rousing applauses, the Navy chief advised the officers to uphold discipline and dedication, adding that it is the only thing that can ensure future promotions and to serve as role models in society.
Promotions in the military, particularly the Navy, increases one's responsibility in terms of the number of men and women that will be placed under your command, in terms of the equipment and machinery that you will be expected to operate and supervise their operations and maintenance, and as well as increase your role in the organizations, that is the Gambia Navy's decision-making process. Promotions are also accompanied with the elevation of your status in society.
The gallant men and women were promoted able seaman, leading seaman, petty officer, chief petty officer, and master chief petty officer. For the head of the Naval Command, these officers deserve the promotions and challenge their colleagues to emulate their fellows.
For the promoted ratings, I want you to know that the Navy will expect much from you, as it is believed that to whom much is given, much is expected. For ratings who are not promoted this year, I endeavor you to take it as a challenge and keep up the good work you have been doing.
Speaking on behalf of his fellow promoted officers, Ibu Sanko was full of praises for the military high command. He thanked their commander-in-chief for giving so much regard to the army.
Accordingly, we most appreciably extend our heartfelt thanks to His Excellency, the President and Commander of the Chief of the Gambia Armed Forces, Sir Professor Dr. Alhaji Yaya A.A. Jammeh Babili Mansa, for his visionary leadership and for his support he always rendered to the Gambia Armed Forces.
It is a tradition in the military to rate officers which, according to the Commodore, represents commitment and bravery, saying it is an exercise which is entirely based on merit. The ceremony wrapped up with a memorable singing and dancing by the officers, who were visibly joyous after their status in the Navy has been elevated. For Grts News, this is Babukar Senghor.
Officials of the Ministry of Agriculture have been touring rural Gambia to oversee the launch of newly rehabilitated centers built in different parts of the country. The tour also provided officials the chance to assess the state of crop production and animal husbandry in rural Gambia. Farmer Kanyi was with the delegations, and he prepares this news report.
Could be described as crucial and timely. Their first stop was Bakindiki, a village in the North Bank region whose potentials in farming and crop production has been greatly appreciated by the Ministry of Agriculture. There, Honorable Usman Jammeh, the Deputy Minister for Agriculture, spearheaded the official handing over of a newly rehabilitated mixed farming center to the beneficiary community. The center is among the many within the country that have undergone massive rehabilitation following an executive directive from the Agriculture Minister, His Excellency Sir Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya A.J.J. Jammeh Babili Mansa. The centers, which are directly funded by the Jammeh administration, are meant to enhance the capacity of farmers in all forms of agriculture, ranging from crop production to animal husbandry. Officials took turns to inform the people of Bakindiki and its satellite villages to take ownership of the facility and to maintain its sustainability. Deputy Minister Honorable Jammeh described the venue as a learning center and advised the locals to make best use of it. From Bakindiki, the tour party proceeded to Sika and Jurunku to visit the Vision 2016 farms dedicated to the president by the local farmers to complement the realization of his food self-sufficiency drive. In Jurunku, the delegation was received by Chati Cham, who wasted no time in leading the party to the president's maize farm.
This trip is threefold. One is to hand over the mixed farming centers. You know, there are 6 mixed farming centers that have been rehabilitated or new houses built. The contractors need to hand this over through the ministry to the Department of Agriculture. That's one of the things we are doing. The second thing we are doing is to have a gist of what happens at field level, the opportunities, the strengths and the constraints, of course, and that will take us to visiting the farmers' fields and the Vision 2016 farms.
The impressive state of the maize, which could be seen at a distance, is indicative of proper management and frequent fertilizer application, high chances of a bumper harvest. Chati Cham and his people expressed their unalloyed loyalty to the Gambian leader and the Ministry of Agriculture and gave assurance that they will continue to till the land to contribute their quota to the fast approaching Vision 2016. The next stop was in Kerjarga Job, the seat of chieftaincy of Jokadu, where similar visits were done. The impressive maize and millet cultivated by the people of the area, which is dedicated to the Gambian leader, showcased a real example of an impressive farming season. Jim Fatma Job is one of the many chiefs in the country who are greatly investing in agriculture. He was commended by officials for what they describe as a job well done. The Chairman Horticultural Center was also visited, where the Gambia Shanghai project is based and is intended to be replicated to other regions.
The intention is to rehabilitate all the mixed farming centers in this country, about 25. We've done 6 and we've been tasked by the head of state to do another 7. Come next year, we will embark on the next 7. And we expect the communities that these centers are handed over to make good use of the centers.
The Central River region, a region which could be described as the country's grain basket, and the torchbearer of the Vision 2016 was also visited by the officials. The rehabilitated mixed farming center in Boiram was greatly appreciated by the locals, who pledged to take ownership of the site. The place is used for crop and animal rearing, as well as serve as a springboard for farmers to learn new agricultural techniques.
This place is a welcome idea, and I think my department is going to make sure we work together with DOA to effectively utilize the space that is given in these mixed farming centers.
Individual farms have been visited by the agriculture delegates. From Boiram, the officials proceeded to the rice fields in Pachar and Sapo, where similar briefings were held.
Here we are here to hand over these facilities to the communities. Communities means the extension communities on the ground, to be able to make sure they are resident and they are able to deliver the required service, to make sure that this center is center of excellence for various technologies as far as agricultural production is concerned. And farmers will learn from there.
The tour is more of a fact-finding mission on the performance of agricultural production in the country. The officials of the Ministry of Agriculture promised to tackle all concerns in the shortest possible time. The tour party continued its mission in the Lower River and West Coast regions, respectively, visiting more farms and mixed farming centers. For GRCS News, I am Farmer Akani.
The Gambia Teachers Union Monday joined hundreds of other unions across the globe to celebrate World Teachers' Day, a moment reserved to pay homage to teachers for their service to better humanity and to reflect on their plight. Louis Mendy was with the celebrants, and he now reports.
Empowering teachers, building sustainable societies might have been the global theme for the 2015 World Teachers' Day. On the home front, mobilizing for a roadmap 2030 for teachers, early childhood education, the foundation of inclusive and sustainable societies, was the focus. Observed the 5th of October every other year, World Teachers' Day is a moment reserved to pay homage to teachers for their selfless and invariable service to humanity.
Today, on World Teachers' Day, we pay homage to all teachers for their pivotal role in shaping children's lives and for their critical contributions to the social, economic, and intellectual development of nations. Teachers are change agents, providing the impetus for the emergence of educated, communities.
Founded in 1967 by Education International, UNESCO, and other leading organizations in promoting education, World Teachers' Day is also a platform to reflect on the plight of teachers who often do not only work under challenging circumstances, but compelled to cope with violence within and outside of classrooms, and perhaps only rewarded with a minimal wage.
Every year, on World Teachers' Day, we celebrate educators and the central role they play in providing children everywhere with a quality education. Today, as the global community comes together around the new 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, the role teachers play has never been more important.
Talking about the country team for the event, Ibrahim Sisao, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, said it is a complete reflection of his ministry's policy. According to DPS Sisao, a strong house is built only on a solid foundation.
Currently, for those who might not know, we are working on a draft policy which will span from 2016 to 2030. The objective will be to consolidate the gains attained under access, but very importantly, we'll focus a lot on quality education. That is our position. That's the position of this Sustainable Development Goal 4, and it is the position of Incheon Declaration 2015.
At the Ministry of Higher Education, the endeavor to promote early childhood education is visible in the promotion of training for teachers with particular focus on the Gambia College as teacher training institution for the realization of quality as encapsulated in MDG 4.
In the case of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, we are committed to continue to support teacher training in the Gambia, to begin with through the Gambia College. And in order to do that, what we hope to do is to first of all start focusing on the college as an institution.
Investing in young children is both a right and an obligation. It is argued that early childhood education should be a major priority on a country's development agenda and a major contributor to breaking the poverty cycle. Therefore, early childhood education should be a public service and an integral part of a country's education system.
Celebrations of World Teachers' Day culminated with a panel discussion by educationists and stakeholders, notably Action Aid, the Gambia, and UNESCO. The intention was to develop strategies aimed at addressing the persistent concerns of early childhood education teachers, such as their status and working conditions, plus innovations for teaching young children for sustainable future. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Stakeholders within the agriculture value chain are working towards having a viable cassava industry, which they believe can contribute to the wealth creation and food security. These efforts were recently intensified with a day forum to validate the Gambia Cassava Development Strategy. Asset was there and reports that the convergence is designed to help transform cassava production in the country into an economic, commercial-oriented sector.
The overall efficiency, resilience, adaptivity, capacity, together with the mitigation potential of the agricultural sector, can be enhanced through improving its various components, one of which is the cassava value chain.
It is a gathering of stakeholders within the agriculture value chain for a day meeting seeking to validate the Gambia Cassava Development Strategy, which is under the implementation of the National Agricultural Research Institute, funded by the Food and Agricultural Organization.
Changing cropping patterns and unsustainable crop and livestock management practices have been primary agents contributing to loss of livelihoods. It is in this way that the government of the Gambia requests the support of the Food and Agriculture Organization to develop the cassava sector, NARI being implementing institution.
The Gambia Cassava Development Strategy takes cue from the Global Cassava Development Strategy and aligns itself with the national development blueprints of Vision 2016, Vision 2020, the PAGE, and the Sustainable Development Goals. FAO, in its capacity as an intergovernmental organization, has a key facilitation role to play in mainstreaming the implementation of this strategy.
The forum is designed to help transform cassava production in the country into an economic, commercial-oriented sector, contributing effectively towards the attainment of the Vision 2020 agenda, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals.
This cassava development strategy, which we are validating today, comes at an opportune moment to guide the process of promoting cassava production and development of the cassava value chain. The government, within the context of the ANR and GNI, would like to see agricultural growth increase from 4% in 2009 to 8% by 2015 through enhanced productivity using commercialization and private sector participation. The government recognizes that crop diversification, commercialization, value addition, and income generation are essential to achieve sustainable growth and development.
This strategic document validation, when fine-tuned, will help identify immediate and long-term needs to ensure that farmers and local entrepreneurs take advantage of opportunities offered by this highly marketable crop, as well as promote its production, processing, utilization, marketing, and trade. Aisa Tuketa, GRTS.
That report by Aisa Tuketa takes us to a first break, but we'll be back with news from outside the Gambia. Don't go away. Welcome back. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has wrapped up a visit to India, leaving German business with a potential business boom on its hands. India's Prime Minister Mahindra Modi threw open the door, saying India is a bright spot for investors and offered huge potentials. He and Chancellor Merkel called for greater bilateral investment and a boost in science and technology cooperation.
Angela Merkel and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited a training facility of the German engineering group Bosch in Bangalore early on Monday. It uses the German vocational training system, which combines practical work experience with academic studies at a college, a system Merkel recommended to her hosts. Trade between India and Germany is worth about 16 billion euros a year. At a meeting with business people, Merkel said that figure could grow significantly if conditions for foreign investment improved. She praised reforms introduced by Modi and his government, but called for further liberalization of India's markets. 170 German companies are already operating in Bangalore, India's IT hub. India is also very interested in growing bilateral trade with Germany. Prime Minister Modi vowed to make inward investment easier.
Our economic partnership remains below our full potential. We are particularly keen to develop the sectors where Germany is strong. We are working hard to create conducive conditions for the same.
A number of deals have already been signed. One is about fast-tracking the approval of applications by German companies to operate in India. Another covers low-interest loans from Germany for investment in India's solar industry. Both countries aim to present ambitious plans for reducing emissions in the run-up to the UN Climate Change Conference in Paris that starts at the end of November.
Turkey accuses Russia of flying aircrafts in Turkish airspace. The incursions came amid tension over Russia's role in the Syrian conflict. Meanwhile, Russian military officials say its aircraft have attacked ISIS targets in the ancient city of Palmyra, where it has destroyed more than 20 tanks. CNN's Matthew Chance reports.
Well, I think it's better that they're happening than they're not happening, certainly, although clearly there seems to be some confusion still about where the Russian airplanes are striking. And so it's a good thing there are military-to-military contacts. There haven't been any unwanted confrontations apart from that straying by Russian military into Turkish airspace. but as we continue, the airstrikes on the part of Russia are carrying on. They've carried out, for the first time, it seems, airstrikes on the town and in and around the town of Palmyra, which is an ISIS stronghold. And it's also a UNESCO cultural site where there are some ancient ruins, some of which have been destroyed by ISIS over the past several weeks and over the past several months as well. And so for the first time there, the Russian air campaign focusing on ISIS positions around Palmyra. They say they've destroyed 20 tanks and 3 missile launchers belonging to ISIS. And so, from the Russian point of view, they are making progress against the Islamic State.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. Bissau Guinean Defense Minister and Special Envoy of President Jose Mario Vaz, Antonio Cabral, has held talks with President Jammeh at State House. Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Her Excellency Aja Dr. Aissatou Njie Seydi, has presided over the swearing-in ceremony of new IEC Commission member, Anthony Robert Seka, at a ceremony held at State House. Gambian Navy Commander Commodore Madani Senghor has urged men and women of the Navy to uphold the principles of hard work and discipline during an address to the newly promoted officers of the Gambian Navy. German and Indian leaders have discussed areas of cooperation between the two economic powers as Chancellor Angela Merkel wraps up a visit to the Indian subcontinent. And Russia's defense force has said its aircraft have destroyed more than 20 tanks belonging to ISIS militants in renewed air raids targeting rebel fighters in the ancient city of Palmyra. Well, that was all in this edition of the News at 10. From me, WINIFRED, NICOL, and the entire news team, thanks for being there. Enjoy the rest of our programs.